Hello and welcome to episode 38 of The Weighing Room, where today, due to some travel issues, we're a man light with Frankie missing the pod this week. So it's just myself and Paul going through the 7 live races across Saturday on ITV Racing. Paul, how's your week been? We're a man light, aren't we, this week?
Yeah, we're a man light, and given the week, given what's on at the minute over in Mallorca, you wouldn't want to start rumours that he could be on a plane out. He could be making a star appearance maybe later on in the show. But yeah, unfortunately, due to travel issues, we're less Frankie this week. But yeah, we'll give it our best shot.
Yeah, loose lips sink ships, don't they? We won't be going into that now. We don't want to be spreading any rumours, do we?
No.
Yeah, like I said, today we'll be going through the racing from Ascot with the Group 1 King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes being the best race on the afternoon in the UK. And also we have some live racing from York with the Group 2 York Stakes, the feature event on the Knavesmire. So we'll get straight into it, Paul. And the first race we're going to cover ahead of the weekend is the 150 Group 3 Princess Margaret Keeneland Stakes. Obviously, I spent quite a lot of time on this race going through because you've got the 7-4 favourite Lazoo, and behind you, you've just got the market 13-2, 7-1, 7-1, 7-1, 7-1, 8-1. It's just packed in behind it. Can you get the favourite beat, Lazoo?
I'm not so sure. Like his win, her win, two starts ago was pretty emphatic. Like she was very, very good. Slightly disappointing when last seen. Frankie on board back at his favourite track with a little, I wouldn't say much to prove, but looking to get, maintain his form. But at the prices, I'm going to look elsewhere. I've gone with Royal Charter. Stevie Donoghue was on board for her debut success. She won a fillies maiden over 6 furlongs at Newmarket back on June the 24th. Tom Marquand takes the reins here. The yard continues in great form. Their debutantes generally do improve for the run. It's a bold shout here, stepping up to a Group 3 event. But I would take a chance for a bet on a betting angle. I would take a chance on Royal Charter. The Zoo we touched on. It's she's the one they all have to beat, and Quinta is 2 from 2. She's also of interest. William Buick was on board her last success. I think Patsy Cosgrove was on board her debut run. So William Buick retains the right here. So Quinta's of interest, but I'd side with the Haggis runner, Royal Charter.
Yeah, it's tough on this because you do want to look for value elsewhere, but I just can't take on this favourite. I think this is one of the strongest bets of the day. I do think the Zoo is obviously the worthy favourite. It's a strong favourite, 7-4. And I just think off the back of what she's done to date, and look, her last race when just getting beat by Morge, that could have gone either way in the stewards room. Really, I think if just slightly closer than the half a length, she could have got that race because it was a bit of trouble in running. But I just think she's brilliant. I was surprised, to be fair, at the anti-post stage. I was looking at the race. I was surprised that she was kept in, obviously having fair few runs quite close to each other. But she's a class act, and I think she'll just keep improving. And I know she's going up to a Group 3, but a lot of these horses in behind are going up into this Group 3 as well. And on form, she's very tough to beat, I think. And I do really like her chances. But it's easy to say she's 7-4 favourite, but I think she's a strong favourite for me in the opener. So we go over to York for their first event on ITV, and it's the 205 Jump Jockeys Nunthorpe Handicap Stakes. It's where the jumped riders switch codes for the afternoon, try and ride a winner on the flat over 5 furlongs. And Paul, we said just off air, I think this is worse trying to find a winner than the Grand National is. I just find this race so tough. Talk us through the field. Who do you like?
Yeah, I think a few of these boys now would be fancying themselves as flat jockeys, I think. We had the jumpers bumpers there a couple of seasons ago with the bad weather. And I think Harry Cobden was trying to charter his inner flat jockey at that stage as well. He gave a couple of Fallon-esque celebrations going by the winning post. I remember at Kempton one evening. A couple of angles I took on it. I think Indian Sounds is of interest. Daryl Jacobs sponsor the race, Sky Bet. Indian Sounds was 6 when last seen. Paul Midgley, he does terrific with his sprinters. He's well known for it. So Indian Sounds is of interest. But horse that I went with is the Kevin Ryan trained A. Begum. Brian Hughes takes the mount, and Brian Hughes is, Aidan Coleman, they'll be nearly almost the closest to flat jockeys riding over jumps. Brian was successful enough. He was apprenticed to Kevin Prendergast here in Ireland before going over to Howard Johnson. But A. Begum was second over course and distance off handicap mark of 65 last time out, was second at Nottingham the time before that, and was a winner at Musselburgh 3 starts back. A. Begum is a course and distance winner off 83. lines up here off 65, and I think with Brian Hughes in the saddle here for Kevin Ryan, I think has to be thereabouts.
Yeah, look, this race is about trying to find that little angle that you can really get behind, and obviously you found that one there, and you made a case also for the Darryl Jacob horse. But the one I've gone with, and the angle that I came down on was Soul Seeker, a general 10-1 shot. This 5-year-old has been very out of sorts of late, and like I don't want to start talking about horse I'm tipping by saying that, but going up the weights, but not like before, and then running really, really bad races, like handicap marks that he wasn't good enough to run at. I think he's much better than that. He's now dropped back to a considerably lower mark of 75. Sees him £8 lower than when he won this race last year, and that's what I'm going with. Tried and tested, won this race last year, course and distance. He obviously likes on the nose, Maya. I just thought that was the angle into the race with Soul Seeker, and an each way price currently 75, £8 lower. I just thought Sean Bowen's in the saddle as well, been riding very well over the jumps over the last 18 months or so. I know it's very different coming to the flat, but obviously coming in with confidence, I just thought Soul Seeker could have a little squeak 10-1, but look, it's a very, very tough race, very tough race. So we'll just have to see how it unfolds. So back over to Ascot for their second race of the afternoon. And it's another Group 3 event. It's the Valiant Stakes over a mile. Paul, who do you like in this one?
I'd take a chance with the consistent Osculla for George Bowie and William Buick. You know, you go through a form like second in a listed event at Epsom back on the 3rd of June, won a listed race at Carlisle back on the 22nd of June, then was second again at Sandown at the beginning of July. Before that was third in a listed event. It was only a length and a half behind Lenicash back on that was the 9th of July. So she can race a little bit keenly, but she's very consistent. And I think the Zanbach is currently the favourite when we were just having a look at this earlier. And I think she just needs things to fall her way. So I think Osculla is a little bit more straightforward than Zanbach.
Yeah, Osculla is a horse that you've tipped up before and got behind, and you're sticking with her now. I think you've got her around 11-2 mark, quite a nice price. I am a fan of Zanbach, but I just want to take her on in this one. I do want to take her on. And the one I came down on when I was looking through after deck, 16-1 was the price. Now into 10-1 with most firms is Kind Gesture for Roger Varian. Verona Prince Faisal, obviously he was in the news over the last few days, obviously chopping off David Egan and other jockeys riding these horses now. And Andrea Zini takes the ride on this one. I think she looks to be a really smart filly in the making. She's seen 3 times today, just going from strength to strength. Finishing second on debut at Nottingham over an 8.5 furlong. She's since been seen twice more, getting off the mark. Next time out at Wetherby over 7 furlongs, and then last time out putting up a career best when she went over a mile at Windsor by 10 lengths. It was extremely taking. She was asked to go up the rail. She pulled clear and just basically walked across the line and still won by 10 lengths. She's still a double figure price at the 10-1. I've got no qualms with that. I think she's underestimated still in the market. I would have her shorter. I just think there's a lot of potential in this horse, and I'm happy to take a chance against the favourite with her. Also, Roger Varian and Andrea Zani are currently both running at a 30% strike rate for the last 14 days. So, hot jockey, hot trainer, a horse that could be potentially very smart. Around the 10-1 mark now, I thought Kind Gesture was quite a good bet in this one. So another tougher event on the Saturday from a punting perspective from York is the Class 2 Sky Bet Dash handicap. Paul, another tough one on the nose, Maya. I think you can make a case for a lot of horses in here in the 6 furlong event. Who would you go for?
Yeah, I'm going to take a chance on the Marco Body train Silver Samurai. Ben Curtis is on board. Silver Samurai finished 11-26 in the Wokingham last time out. Was twice a winner at Haydock and Newbury prior to that. And should find life a little easier here and should be thereabouts, I think. So it's Silver Samurai for me.
Yeah, Silver Samurai obviously went on a bit of a winning spree. Last time out wasn't so good. But if getting back to form, look, it was a tough race. What was it, the Royal Meeting, the Wokingham?
Yeah,
the form of that race has worked out really well, hasn't it? Really, Rohan run a cracking race here. Was it the Group 1 July Cup? And then
went to ran well at Newbury then last time out, and just faded. Just arrived there about a furlong out or so, and just faded in the last half furlong or so.
And then Mr. Wagyu has obviously finished fourth in that race, went over to Ireland last week and won a really nice handicap there. So the form's not bad at all with that race. So yeah, if Silver Samurai can bounce back to form, definitely got a big chance. I've judged this race against the field. I thought, why not? Really big field. Let's try and find some each way value. And the first one I landed on was the Keith Dalglish trained Abraham Gold for Peaky Blinders fans out there. This horse, course and distance winner, and has been in some really fine form of late. It seems to be this rejuvenated horse, having run some bad races, but really likes it on the Knavesmire, especially on this straight track. When he gets going, absolutely flies. So in the past, winning off a high of like a mark of 101 during his career, he now sees himself at a mark of 90, so obviously 11 pounds lower. He's still only the age of 5. He retains big ability, I think, off his last 2 runs. And another thing I like about this horse, he's a frequent performer. I know a lot of horses in this field are, but he's a frequent performer in big fielded handicaps. He'll handle the conditions, he'll handle the track, and won't mind bunching and going into horses because he's used to the hustle and bustle of these type of races. His last 2 events have seen him in two nice place efforts. Strong second at Ayr at the start of July when only going down by a head, and then ran over the same course and distance in the Ayr Gold Cup trial. And was only half a length second that day. Like I said, he seems a bit rejuvenated. Billy Garrity on board, 8 stone 12, course and distance winner. I thought around 17 to 2. Marquis represents each way value. And another one, I'm taking a big punt on around the 20 to 1 mark is Nomadic Empire for David O'Meara. This horse has got absolutely no form whatsoever over his last 6-7 runs and needs to bounce back to form in a big way. But it's another one where this horse loves York, and off his current mark, dropping down, just could run a big race. But look, he does need to bounce back to form. September last year, over course and distance, he landed a 10-runner handicap. He saw off the likes of the chairman of the boards, Cairn Island, Mr. Wagyu. That was off a mark of 99. He's now off a mark of 97, obviously dropping down. He needs to really put his performance at Ascot behind him last time out. He's 2 pounds below his last winning mark now, 97. I just thought it was an interesting angle into the race, and around 20 to 1 could represent each way value because these big races, big fielded handicaps, will definitely have bigger each way turns with some bookmakers, so definitely shop about on race day. So the races don't get any easier, Paul. We've got another big fielded event. This is the 3 o'clock International Stakes over 7 furlongs from Ascot. Talk us through this one again, because you could make a lot of cases once more because just so many runners.
Yeah, a couple. What was it? Bless him. I had a look at him now. I thought he was a good winner under Spencer last time out, so he'd have a bit of a squeak. But horse I really like, I think he's an absolute character, is Accidental Agent. Has the top weight here. He carries 10 stone. Charles Bishop back on free of Johnson Houghton. Was 7th of 18 over 7 furlongs in the Bunbury Cup at Newmarket last time out. Was second in the Victoria Cup over course and distance back in May. He's a winner of the Queen Anne Stakes at Royal Ascot back in 2018. He is a character, but I think on a going day, he has to run a place here. He's around about the 20, 25 to 1 mark. A bit of each way value to be had if you shop around. And I do think he represents cracking each way value. So it's Accidental Agent for me. Yeah,
absolutely loves this track. Obviously winning Queen Anne Stakes once upon a time. And a horse that just absolutely loves running his race if he ends up coming out the stalls, because we know in the past he's a bit of a nutcase, isn't he?
He's a character. Like he'd probably read you the racing post. Like he's just an absolute character.
Yeah, definitely. He's currently around the 22 to 1 mark. Obviously, he's the top weight, but top weight for a reason. He's probably the class act in the field. And also, what was interesting when I looked at this race, I was trying to look at where the pace would come from, and the horse that I came down on that would probably be the pace angle is King Zane for Harry and Roger Charlton, drawn in stall 21. Where you've got Accidental Agent also in stall 19 that could bomb out if really wanted to. So the horse I came down, I have Dutch this race, but the horse that I'm most fond of is Air to Air for George Bowie, drawn in stall 20. Obviously, George Bowie's had a fantastic season, classic winner with the 1,000 guineas. And when the money comes for a horse, this horse was 25 to 1 at the Antipost stage, now currently 8 to 1. When the money comes for this horse, with a George Bowie horse, he very rarely gets it wrong, and I like that angle into this race. This horse is also matured for his age, 4-year-old now. As a 3-year-old, was a bit of a head case. When he wanted to perform, was a very good horse, but sometimes just didn't want to But he looks to have progressed, I think, from his sole run this season, from his 3-year-old campaign, winning a nursery handicap very, very comfortably last time out. And that was off a mark of 91. He's now off a mark of 95. He's only gone up £4. 7 furlongs seems to be his trip. Another nice thing, Ross Orion's been booked, cracking jockey. And like I said, when the money comes for a Bowie horse, they don't really get it wrong. So I'll be happy to play air to air at 8-1 each way in this one. And just another one I'd put up at an each way angle was, again, about 14, 16-1. But look, I'm looking about 12s, 11 now. It's Chief of Chiefs. He absolutely loves running his race, a bit like Accidental Agent at Ascot. Charlie Fellows has employed Colin Keane to take this ride, which I thought was quite interesting. Obviously, he's come over for the Westover ride, but to jump on this horse, he's a cracking jockey. I thought that was quite taking. He's a frequent runner at this track, 6, 7 furlongs, big field events. Like I was saying before about Abraham Gold, he'll handle the hustle and bustle. And in June 2020, he went on to land the Silver Wokingham, obviously when they put the extra races on at Royal Ascot that year, and that was off a mark of 95. He ran some crackers last season, similar events. Obviously, a strong fourth in the Wokingham and was a close-up 7th in the Victoria Cup. And he's been in very similar form this term. His best runner of the year was when last seen at the Royal Meeting, finished a narrow 4th of 29 in the Buckingham Palace Stakes over course and distance. He's off the same mark of 96. I just thought he couldn't be ruled out of hitting the frame, and I just think he'll definitely run his race. So that's Air to Air and Chief of Chiefs for me in that one. So the final race from the Knavesmire on ITV this weekend sees the feature race for themselves, the Group 2 York Stakes over 1 mile, 2 furlongs. Only 5 go to post. Paul, who do you like in this one?
I take a chance on Dubai Future. That Wolferton win last time out might just give him a bit more confidence, and he might be able just to follow up here on the back of that success. He has his quirks, he wears the cheek pieces, he can race a little bit keenly, but like I said, on the back of a last time out win in the Wolferton, he should go well here for trainer side Vince Arur and jockey Adam Kirby. So it's Dubai Future for me. Yeah,
it's an interesting one, isn't it, this? Because you've got horses like Dubai Future that could be absolutely rejuvenated off the back of that run. You've got Dubai Honour, who usually likes it a bit softer, but he's got some of probably the classiest back form in the race. So Busker, we know, class act on his day. And then we've got Claymore at the top of the market, who's the up-and-coming horse, the improving horse, the 3-year-olds, obviously getting weight off the field, apart from Darth Moon Rising, that has a lot to do at 20-1 outsider. But when I was looking through the race, I thought it was quite a tough and might be a little tactical affair, but I did stick with Claymore. And like I've said on previous podcasts, I really like Jane Chapel-Hyam. I like how she operates. And I think this horse could be quite special still. Last season, he was only seen once, got off the mark straight away, beat Noble Order, smart horse for Godolphin, and also beat My Prospera that day, who's come out to run cracking the St James's Palace Stakes, won a listed race over at Sandown, and also last time out in a Group 2 in France. So it's come on to be a very nice horse. This season, Claymore made his seasonal debut in the Group 3 Craven Stakes. Native Trail won that day. He's gone on to win the Irish 2000. Didn't run a bad race in the English 2000. The only bad race Claymore's ran this season when he was drawn in the car park in the French 2000 Guineas, ran no race at all, finished last of the 15, but from where he was drawn, unless you got across, had absolutely no chance. Up to 1 mile, 2 furlong last time out at Royal Ascot. He upset one of the biggest favourites of the week, probably for the Queen. He reached for the moon, pulling away impressively. I know this is his toughest test. He's up again into the Group 2 from a Group 3 last time out. I just thought that Dubai Honour was probably his biggest rival, and maybe one in soft ground, getting weight off Dubai Honour. I was happy to play Claymore, and hopefully he gets the job done in this one. So the big race of the afternoon, and an absolute cracking race he looks to be on Saturday from Ascot, is the Group 1 King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes. And obviously, Paul, the race has seen winners like Enable, Poet's Word, some absolutely class horses have gone on to win this race. I'll read the market to you as we currently stand. So we've got Westover at the top of the market around 11-8. Emily Upjohn, obviously supposed to go to the Irish Oaks last week. A bit like Frankie, had some travel issues, couldn't go. So she's been stuck into this race. We've got Mishriff at 10-3. We've got the Arc winner, Torquato Tasso at 12-1, Broome 22-1, and Pole Driver, who could be a big price at 22-1. Who are you siding with?
I think Mishriff have to have a serious chance. James Doyle takes over from David Egan for John and Thady Gosling, second one last seen. But I can't get away from Westover. I can't see much of a reason to oppose Westover. You know, his time in the Derby course and distance to that of the Oaks is a fraction faster. The Derby winning time was 2 minutes 36.38 seconds. The Oaks time was 2 minutes 37.83 seconds. So he absolutely, I think he'll be better here. More of a galloping track that we saw at the Curragh played to his strengths. Like, I think, you know, yourself could have won him at the Curragh the last time. Like, he demolished his rivals. So, you know, at the prices, I do think Westover still is a bit of value here. I don't see any reason to, if I was back and looking elsewhere, I'd be maybe looking at Mishriff. I think the German horse, the Arc winner, Torquato Tasso, is better with a bit of juice in the ground. I just think Emily Upjohn's going to have to improve. You know, I know her run the last day was a serious effort. Like, she was last, wasn't she, with about 3 furlongs out when things went horribly wrong for her at the start. But I just think Westover was so good at the Curragh. And I think the track here will suit him. I think Ascot will suit him. So I'm going to stick with Westover.
Yeah, it could be set up for an absolutely great race. You've got the older horses against the young pretenders, the 3-year-olds. You've got an Arc winner. Mishriff's gone on to win Jumpman Internationals. Pole Driver's a Group 1 winner. Obviously, Broome was a nice winner of the Hardwick last time. It's just a great race. I know there's only 6 going, but I think it'd be quite a special race. Look, Westover, I gave him a massive shout for the Irish Derby, and he went on to proceed. He could have kept winning, could have kept going, won by how many lengths? But the big but, I'm a huge Emily Upjohn fan. I don't want to compare her to the likes of a Naval just from the same yard and stuff, but I think this horse is special. I really, really do. And getting the £3 off Westover maybe could just be the difference. I can't see, look, it's easy to say it's the top 2 in the market, but I can't see the winner coming out from the top 2. I think the problem with Mishriff I have is when I see Mishriff at 1 mile 2, he wants 1 mile 4. And then when he runs 1 mile 4, he wants 1 mile 2. So I like Mishriff a lot, but giving a stone away to Emily Upjohn, that's tough. We saw last year when Mishriff took on Adiyar, giving some serious weight away. He ran a cracker, absolute cracker, but that weight told in the end, and Adiyar went on to win. I think that might be the same problem here. Mishriff won a good race, but that weight might just take over. But yeah, the Westover Emily Upjohn conundrum was quite tough. I was back and forth, but just getting that value at 11-4 currently, I think could be quite a nice price for quite a special horse. I respect Westover massively, and look, if Westover goes on to win, fair play, absolutely fair play. We ran a great race in the Derby. Obviously, it was brilliant in the Irish Derby, and could be even better here. But having those such big races so close together, and obviously Emily Upjohn missing that Irish Oaks, and last being seen in that Oaks, she might just be a little bit fresher. She was obviously very wound up to run in that Irish Oaks, and then maybe just done a little work in the week to freshen her up for this. She could be on tip-top shape and ready to really go. What she did in that Epsom Oaks was nothing short of brilliance. She basically fell out the stalls. Frankie wanted to sit 2 or 3 Andy, was second last, came from the rear, and on another day wins that race. It's just very unlucky. You send it upstairs in the photo finish. It could have gone either way. I thought that was a massive run, and obviously the way at York she won the Mussadora as well was just brilliant. And before that, in that Sandown over 1 mile 2, 9.5 lengths, she could have won by probably 18. Then she could have doubled it. I think she's a special horse, I really do, and that's why I'm going with Emily Upjohn. But look, very tough race between the top 2, and I think it's a great renewal of the race. So that's it for this week, Paul. That's 7 races covered on ITV. As ever, I'm going to ask you for your nap, please, for the weekend.
I'm going to go at the prices. I think if he's 20-1 or more, I think Accidental Agent is a cracking each way bet in the 3 o'clock contest at Ascot. So Accidental Agent each way, if he's 20s or more, I think represents a bit of value. There's 2, I think, to keep an eye on at Gorham Park. Declan McDonough, he only has 2 rides at the meeting. He's one of the best jocks either side of the Irish Sea. He rides Sistine Madonna for Joseph O'Brien, who was 7th over a mile in a handicap at Killarney last time out, but was a good second in a maiden at Dundalk the time before. This is only a 4th start, so there should be more to come from Sistine Madonna in the 2:20 at Goran. And in the 5:10, Declan is then hanging about from 2:20 to 5:10 to ride the Gordon Elliott trained Elusive Gigolo, who's yet to fire in 2 starts this season, but was a good third. I think it ran about 40-1 on his final start last season. Not many miles on the clock. He's only had the 9 starts. Stall 12 is not ideal, but I do find it interesting that Declan McDonough is hanging about to partner Elusive Gigolo in the 5:10 at Goran. So that's Sistine Madonna in the 2:20 at Goran Park and Elusive Gigolo in the 5:10.
Yeah, that is interesting. Just looking at that, actually, obviously Gordon Elliott having a run on the flats, bold enough as it is, but with him sticking around, he's a top-class jockey. Yeah, definitely. Very, very interesting. So I'm going to try and keep it a bit more simple this week because last week went for Marder's Promise and fell at the third fence. Look, you can't account for that. I thought he was going to run a big race, but we'll never know. I'm going to stick with the top race, the Group 3. Is it Princess Margaret Keenan Stakes? Yeah, I'm going to go for Lazoo. I just think 7-4. I think it's a cracking price still. I know we don't know what some of the other horses could turn out to be. But I just think these horses could be head and shoulders above the field. And Lazoo at 7-4 for me would be my nap on the Saturday from the ITV races. So thanks, Paul. As ever for your selections. Hope we've found some winners. We haven't been doing too bad over the last few weeks. Please remember to like this video, comment your selections below, like I saw some last week. Brilliant, some nice winners in the comments. And also subscribe to Winners Enclosure channel with plenty of racing content to go through. So, Paul, all the best for the weekend. And again, hopefully we found some nice winners.
Fingers crossed. Cheers, James. All the best.
Nice one, mate. Lovely stuff.
Lovely.
Nice one.
Did you want to do, because if you've got some pics from Goran, feel free to send them over and I'll put them into the Irish angle and send it over to you if you want. If you haven't got no time, it's no problem, but...
what time are you on till today?
I'll be around till about 5-ish, so...
I'll try and get something done. I'm back on the air at 4, so I'll try and get it up.
Even if not, mate, if you want to send it over, like, on Friday, I can put it together, so whenever.
Yeah, grand. Yeah, I've them two anyway. I might put something else in and send on.
Yeah. If not, if you just got them two, that's sound. But if you want to put another one, that's sound. But yeah, just let me know and just pop it over an email or WhatsApp, whatever.
That'll do. No bother. Sound, James. Thanks a million.
Yeah. Good stuff. Right, have a good weekend, mate.
James, Corey, see you. Good luck. Bye.
Bye.